The Secretary of the Air Force received a first-hand look at operations at Robins Air Force Base this week. During her two-day visit, Heather Wilson toured the base to meet with active duty, Guard, Reserve, civilians, and contractors.
This morning, she talked with the media about the importance of Robins as a whole to the rest of the country. Chelsea Bimefor shares more on what Secretary Wilson says about new technology and research going on at Robins.
This morning, Secretary Wilson explained that there are 3 large maintenance depots across the country that work on the majority of military aircraft. Of course, Warner Robins Air Force Base right here in central Georgia is one of them.
They're trying to reduce the number of days that aircraft are in deep maintenance, and every day that it's not in maintenance is a day that it's available for our active duty airmen to be able to be ready for anything that the nation asks.
That's just one thing that Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson says impressed her as she visited Robins Air Force Base this week.
We can make parts in different ways than we have in the past.
According to Wilson, Robins workers are using new technology like 3D printers to design parts for weapons and planes. In the past, it would have taken longer to manufacture them. And as the Air Force transitions from JSTARS to the new Advanced Battle Management System over the next 7 to 8 years, Wilson says Robins will play a key role.
And I made the decision that the first fusion cell for advanced battle management will be located here at Warner Robins.
Wilson says the Air Force will continue a total force approach with ABM, meaning she expects the number of jobs at Robins for the Guard and Reserve to remain very similar.
Where we're going with advanced battle management is to be able to connect more sensors from space, air, manned, unmanned, ground, surface of the sea, to be able to integrate a picture and be able to operate and provide information to the Army even in contested airspace.
Now, Secretary Wilson concluded her press conference by commenting that one of her biggest takeaways from her visit this week was that she could tell how much the community supports Robins Air Force Base. In Warner Robins, Chelsea Bimefor, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, you may remember last month we reported on a 2017 military plane crash that happened over Mississippi, which had ties to Robins.
That crash killed 16 servicemen. A military report says it may have been prevented if a 2011 maintenance check at Robins had spotted corrosion on the plane. Secretary Wilson says as a result, the Air Force reviewed its process on how to rehab propellers. She says they are now redesigning that process, which she expects to be certified very soon, and that work will still take place here in central Georgia.
You know, we all are familiar with rust, but even at the point where you might not be able to see it and where there may be cracking in the material, and then how can you take rust or corrosion off of a surface more easily or more thoroughly? And we're particularly here in Middle Georgia, they're developing laser technology to be able to take rust off the surface of metal.
For more from Secretary Wilson's news conference, you can visit our website, 13WMAZ.com.
We're taking a closer look at some other big names to visit the base. Last year, President Trump landed Air Force One at Robins before he toured a Red Cross distribution center to thank volunteers and first responders in the wake of Hurricane Michael. The president also visited a South Bibb County farm. And back in 2017, Clint Eastwood shot scenes of his movie 1517 to Paris at Robins. The movie was about 3 Americans who foiled a terrorist attack on a train in France. That movie was released last year. And
according to Bill Head, the chief historian of the Warner Robins Air Logistics Center, 3 presidents other than Mr. Trump have visited the base. Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, and Jimmy Carter have all been to Robins.